Witch Hunt is the newest film from director L. Callahan, I think. Yeah, L. Callahan, who's the director of a film called Head Count from 2018, which I greatly enjoyed. I was a big fan of this one. I don't think I saw it till 2019, but I was a champion for that one for sure. I was telling everyone about it. It came onto Netflix. It's a love it or hate it kind of film for most people. And I was on the side of I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was clever. I thought that they utilized what little they had to make a very interesting and thrilling movie, with a pretty basic idea, concept, and the execution of it was solid for me. So really cool. And when I saw that she had made a new movie, and I got access to watch this one, I jumped right on it because I was as soon as I saw her, and then I also saw that the girl from Lost and the Purge election year, which I just watched. So when I saw her name pop up, I was like, oh, her, okay, cool. I just watched something with her in it because I just rewatched all the Purge movies to see the fifth Purge movie, which I can't seem to get to because it's not within like a fucking 100-mile radius of me right now, and it's really angering, and I really want to watch it, but it is what it is. Anyway, so this movie is lower budget, of course, but it's super ambitious, and I feel like this is a film that's limited by its runtime. This is one of those films that I feel like the concept of it would be much better suited for a television series. This should be adapted into a television series to flesh this out because there's a lot of world building that's going on in here. This kind of film typically would just be some generic, simple type of film, but not with this. With this is a world where witches are real and witchcraft has been outlawed and it's modern day. And so there are, kind of task forces that are out there constantly looking for witches to take and burn or arrest and deport or whatever. And they live on like a border town, and I guess Mexico is giving these people asylum, so they're like trying to get across the border, and of course they have the cops out and they're looking for them. And then there's this girl who's our main protagonist of the film, and her mother houses these young witches, kind of like, the Jews during the Holocaust or something. And, this girl just doesn't understand why her mom's doing it. She thinks it's wrong, but she doesn't say anything. But she's kind of trying to figure out, her mindset on this. She's like a teenager. She's maybe like 16, 17 years old, and she's trying to understand witches. She's trying to understand the whole thing, but she's buying into the propaganda that they're bad, that all magic is evil, and this and that. So we're doing a lot of world building for the world that we're in within this film, because, this is a much different world than the one we know. And for that, I applaud it. I think that's super cool. I think it's a great idea. I think there's a lot of ambition here, and I really do applaud the film for that. I did find myself not enjoying the film as much as I would have liked, for sure, just because I found a lot of the things within the film to be very anticlimactic and not very well explored. While I think they do a good job of setting up the stakes as far as the world that they live in, I wasn't attached to the characters and what was happening in the relationships that were being built as much as I would have needed to be invested in this film as much as it wanted me to be. And so I did find a lack of connection to things going on because I just didn't feel like we focused on the things that I would have liked for me personally, to get attached to the characters and the situations within this film. I think everyone's fine in it. I think everyone does a good job. It's just a slower film. And honestly, I guessed the ending as soon as they hinted at what it could be. They didn't make that noticeable on purpose. They just said something within the film, and I was like, that's how this movie's going to end. Guaranteed. It was maybe, I don't know, 60% of the way through or something, a character says something, and I'm like, that's how this movie's gonna end. And sure as shit, that's exactly how the movie ended, like literal last fucking frame of the film. And I was like, that's what I expected. Which I get it. It's poetic, and it's got this like, you know, callback to it, and it says something about the film itself. It's a little meta in its execution, and I like that for it. So it's not a knock on the film. It was just something maybe I caught because I watched too many fucking films. I just feel like in order for this film to have worked better, because we even get Ashley Bell in this from The Last Exorcism, which I'm always excited to see her because I think she's wonderful. I think she's killer as Nell in The Last Exorcism. So to see her in here, I was like, yes, Elle. Now, is she properly utilized in this film? Not really, but her acting, of course, is fantastic as usual, with the very limited screen time she's given. But what I would have liked to have seen out of this film, for me personally, would have been way more from this, like, witch hunter. He kind of is like the Jew hunter of Inglourious Bastards. That guy just is wasted to me. I just don't find him menacing or interesting or threatening, or so that to me was kind of a failure of the film. I think his acting is fine. I just don't feel like he's given enough for me to feel like he has an impact on the film as much as I feel like he should have. Also, the main character here and her exploration of these things, I just don't feel like we get enough of her interactions with the people who are being, you know, scrutinized at that time or thought to be witches, and maybe her eventual potential turn one way or the other. It just didn't feel fully realized, and I didn't feel the connection as much as I would have liked. But I still don't dislike the film. I like the film. I like the swings, and I like the premise. You know, I like that stuff within it, and I don't think it's a bad film. I think it's a fine film. I think a lot of people will be bored by it. I think a lot of people will see it as some kind of social commentary on immigration or being against women. I keep trying to come up with this word, but for some reason it's escaping my mind at the moment. But the persecution of women, stuff like that. I feel like people maybe want to take it in that way, and of course anything that has an agenda or a message these days is immediately considered shit, which is so stupid to me. Films have always had messages, but people seem to just be down on anything now that has any kind of political, metaphors or symbolisms or social commentaries or any of that stuff. So that shit's so stupid to me that people are like that, but had nothing to do with any of my dislike towards the film. I liked the film. I liked the film. I just don't think many people are going. I think it has a very specific audience. I think that younger girls from maybe like 14 to 22, 25, somewhere in that area, are going to gravitate towards this film a little bit more. You know, the outcasts, like a Craft, you know, when the Craft came out, except for that was obviously catered towards a bigger audience. It just kind of reminds me of something along those lines, but on a smaller, more personal scale and much more toned down. Now, this film doesn't have to be some action extravaganza or anything. That's not what this film is, nor is it trying to be that. So that's not exactly it. It's just me personally relating to things and connecting with everyone's desires and goals and whatnot. It wasn't 100% there for me, and that's what it really needed, because that's really what the film is going for. Anyways, it's not a failure all around for me, but I just feel like it's a missed opportunity, and it should be turned into a television series, because this world is very interesting to me, where witchcraft is real, but it's more thought of like these are like illegal immigrants, and if they're caught in the country, they're going to be prosecuted or put to death. So that's cool, and it's a very personal story, and it's very small scale, but I think they do a good job with the budget that they have. So anyways, I'm done. Let me know if you ever see it. Bye.